CA Football Media Day moving right along. We're here with Joe Trainer from Rhode Island, the Rams, and thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, I know last year was a tough season for University of Rhode Island, but there's always something that you can take positive out of a season like that. What can you take from 2012 that brings into 2013?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is you hope that there's a resiliency from having experienced that type of adversity. The thing that I was proudest about, in spite of a bad year, there was never any finger pointing, there was never dissension, and I think that's a credit to the type of players we have in our program. So you hope moving forward into 2013, there is that resiliency. Our guys are playing with a chip on their shoulder, preparing like there's a chip on their shoulder, and going out to prove something in 2013. And we've had a great offseason, and we're really excited about that.
One of those guys I'm sure is preparing very hard in the offseason is your quarterback. Bob Benson threw for over 1,500 yards last season. What can we expect from him?
Yeah, like all starters that are returning, take a next step. That's the goal. Bob's had a great offseason. He's got a tremendous work ethic. He's got a better core around him of talent this year than last year. I think there were times last year where he just put a ton of pressure on himself. Some of it undue and unrealistic. And we think we're surrounding him with better players this year, so there's no doubt he's going to be poised to have a great year this year.
Defensively, you missed out on linebacker Doug Johnson a year ago. He had a tremendous 2011 season. Can we expect him to be back, and what should we expect from seeing Johnson back on the field?
Obviously, he was a returning all-league player. But actually, both him and Dave Zacco were both on different preseason All-American teams a year ago, and we didn't have the services of either one of those guys, so that obviously impacted us. But Doug's a winner. He's a leader. I think if he's healthy, he can be as good as any defensive player in the conference.
When Doug does return, he's going to have a linebacking teammate in Andrew Bose, who had a breakout season a year ago. Speak about Bose's year and the rest of the defense coming back for 2013.
Yeah, we had 10 starters that we consider returning starters from a year ago. Some of those guys were thrown into the mix too early, out of necessity with injuries and some depth issues. But Andrew had a monster year last year, and the challenge for him, he came onto the scene kind of out of nowhere, really wasn't expected to have the type of year he had, just a tremendous year. And now his challenge is taking the next step. How badly do you want to be a great player? He's had a great offseason. He's committed himself in the weight room, but now he's got to go from being a pretty good player on a not so good team to being a really, really good player on a hopefully much improved team.
You mentioned some players getting experience early in the year by necessity last year, and you come into this 2013 campaign with a pretty large recruiting class. Is there anybody that we should keep our eye on that might be vying for some playing time as a freshman?
Well, we did have I would say an inordinately big class, in terms of numbers. Our philosophy was, knowing that we had such a big class, we were going to try and actively recruit some transfers, some 1A transfers and junior college transfers. And we had a number of those guys in our program right now. We have a running back that's coming in from Miami of Ohio, a DN from Ohio University, a receiver from Rutgers, a kicker from Rutgers, a quarterback from South Alabama, and a number of junior college guys. So, in a year where you have that many kids coming in, you need kids that are going to help compete right away, and certainly those upperclassmen that are coming in as transfers, we hope that they give us an immediate boost.
All right, some new faces, some returning players that you can look forward to in 2013. Best of luck.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for joining us. That was Joe Trainer, head coach of Rhode Island.